Welcome to this session number 6 or episode number 6 of the practice pain points. And I hope you guys enjoyed the morning session. Let me share my screen. And of course, this is the part 2 or part 6 that we are dealing with now in the practice pain point series. So as usual, all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, no thanks is less for my dad, who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance, practice management, and of course, law-related guidelines. This is my brief CV. Many of you are aware of it by now, so I will not stop here. So today is the National Holiday Special, my webinar number 258. We had 257 in the morning. So this is Gandhi Jayanti and Shastri Jayanti. So National Holiday Special, making use of these days. So what are the wannabes? I want you to get a pen and a paper, keep noting the main points, because listening always will never help. Very few of you make notes and very few post in the group. So writing down the main points, if not for others, at least write for yourself. So those who make notes, make notes. The spellings are the same, but the symbols are different. And of course, you may post takeaways. So today's learning objectives have been to at least finish with the high priority pain points. And of course, this is an educational webinar. There won't be any selling at the end. I'll do a quick recap of all the queries answered, as two of you mentioned in the morning that my query was answered in the previous session. So which all queries were answered? Of course, we won't be going much detail into there. So these are just value addition sessions meant for, you can say, awareness exercise. After all, I am answering your queries, though what you posted. Of course, doing it in my own way in a small session, you can say not a whole day session, but a 1 hour, 1.5 hour session in that. So these are the topics for the whole day today. So the pain points, which are the problems in our life. Number 257 and 258, 257 happened in the morning. So just shift to PC, tablet, or laptop. If you are using phone, make notes because they are the best form of learning. Distractions should not be there around you. If you are there from your clinic or if you are in your house having lunch, no problem. Grab your lunch plate and sit along and switch on your cameras. I don't mind it. But speaking to a blank wall where none of the cameras is on is as demoralizing for anyone, or as being non-attentive than anything, because that will not serve the purpose for you. So of course, if my solutions don't appeal to you, you can consult anyone else who can give you a better one. So we held 2 parts in the month of July. On the Guru Purnima day, we make sure that we cover something on any of the occasions. And then on the Teachers' Day, we took up episode 3 and episode 4. And episode number 5 happened today morning. So just a quick recap of what all has been covered so far in the first 5 episodes. Of course, episode number 1 started with the pain points definition. What exactly are they? Every one of us has those pain points, followed by the definition, description, what you can say they can be, plain and simply speaking, problems. Last year when we did it, we divided it into various heads. It was a cumbersome exercise. This year, the responses were comparatively a bit more. So we shifted it to a different system. So financial pain point, productivity-wise, process-wise, support-wise, ethical-wise, not in our hand, salaried. So because this year it was allowed for anyone to describe their pain points. So that is why we have good, long, you can say, questions or queries posted. So we don't mind that. But the only reason we allowed that was because sometimes one-liners don't give a complete description of the problem. If we are looking at the problem, you need to describe the problem. So last year we grouped them into one, but this year we decided to group them into 3 different heads: high, moderate, and low. None of you knew this thing, that what are we going to start with. So we started with the high priority pain points, which I am sure chahe 10 minutes zyada lage, 20 minutes zyada lage, I'll be completing all the high priority pain points today and starting with the moderate by the end of this session in episode number 6. So low, moderate, severe, we started with the high or the severe one. And of course, the names were not taken, only the city name, so that you have a symbol or a recognition whenever you watch these videos later on YouTube, that what exactly has been covered so far. So the first query was from Surat, Gujarat. They were they have been posted in the order they have been received. The highs first from 1 to 250 responses, then the moderates from 1 to 250 responses, and then the lows, and then the random ones, those who did not fill anything, high, moderate, or low. If you don't know the priority, then you automatically fall in the fourth category. Then obviously from Indore, Madhya Pradesh, Perangalur, Tamil Nadu, Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, Tier 3 city, India, no mention of city, Nagpur, Maharashtra, Pune, Maharashtra. Then we shifted to episode number 2, where we started with the pain point session number 2 and the queries from Nayamati Taluka, Karnataka, Pune, Maharashtra, Surat, Gujarat, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, Tier 2, India, Trivandrum, Tier 3, Kerala, Hingoli, Maharashtra, Surat, Gujarat, Jamnagar, Gujarat, Chennai and Bhusawal, Jalgaon, Maharashtra, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Bhiwandi, Maharashtra, Srinagar, J&K. And this was the session where I ended on Guru Purnima. And then we came to session number 3 with the episode number 3. And again, a query from Mumbai, Maharashtra, Mohali, Punjab. That was a pretty long query. So Panvel, Maharashtra, query number 23. 24 was from Pune, but now shifting to rural area in Rajasthan. 25 was from Vadodara, Gujarat. 26 from Delhi, India. 27 from Delhi, India. That was the end of session number 3. And in the episode number 4, which was a tad long session like today afternoon. So started from Thane, Maharashtra, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Nagina, jewel city of Uttar Pradesh, New Gurgaon, Delhi NCR, Bhusawal, Jalgaon, Padgaon, Maharashtra, Vadodara, Gujarat. You can see if your query has been mentioned in these. From Dubai, UAE, Tier 1 India, Tier 3 India, Bengaluru, Karnataka, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Village Wani, Dindori, Nashik, Maharashtra, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, Mysuru, Karnataka, Gandhidham, Gujarat, Village Guthaj, Mehmedabad, Kheda, Gujarat, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, Nasik, Maharashtra, query from Delhi, India. This was the part till session number, episode number 4. And we started today morning from episode number 5 or webinar number 257. And in the morning, we covered up these things. I started with the anonymous query, which was from EH. That was a very intriguing query. I quite a bit spent some time on the problems and of course the solution expected. This was not a part of our survey, but I still took it up because these were the ones which were asked and I spent some good time. So that is the reason I say that sometimes answers are not possible in 1 or 2 lines. We write on the Facebook or any other app or wherever the query has been posted. Sometimes it is not good to reply. It is better to reply it with the context and with the situation. It is accordingly there. So query number 49 was from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Again, a tad long. Number 50 was from Latur, Maharashtra. Again, a long problem. 51 was from Ulhasnagar, Maharashtra. Again, a long problem. So because of the long problems, actually 4 only problems could be taken up in the morning session. So here we are for episode number 258, exactly in 10 minutes. So I'll be continuing till that time, probably 3:10, 3:20, till I finish the high priority severity points of this presentation. So welcome to this session number 258. I am giving you a quick 10, 20, 30 seconds to grab a notebook if you want, and I'll be back. Let's start with the session. So pain points episode number 6, part 6, query from Ranchi, Jharkhand, number 52. Consent legal treatment was discussed with patient, estimate given in writing, consent was verbally taken, patient was a referral from a family friend, treatment of multiple teeth were done over a span of 6 months. Patient came in the 7th month stating food lodgement. He is diabetic and toothpick user. All precautions were explained to him previously, hence out of good faith, I asked him to take a second opinion. He sent a legal notice after 2 months demanding full refund, stating that the treatment done was substandard, but no written proof. The family friend and a lawyer friend were all involved in this. I paid up since my family didn't want to get involved in the legal hassles. How could I have handled the situation better? Now, the question is, we underestimate a few things when it comes to consent. Consent is firstly toning down of the expectations, mentioning of the wrong habits, for example, toothpick user, understanding the medical history and allowing it to make a compromised, you can say, situation afterwards, or compromised results if you expect afterwards. All these three things, expectations, medical history, and of course, bad habits, they all have to be in sync and combined before you go ahead and start the treatment. If the patient and you are on the same page, understanding, say a yes. As I said in the morning also, and many times before, we are in a dominant position to say a no before the start. If we don't say a no, that means we have agreed and adjusted to the patient's needs and demands, whatever the patient has in her mind. The problem is we sometimes do the reverse. We sometimes take the patient to the moon, telling that we'll make them, you can say, Amir Khan and Salman Khan or Madhuri Dixit or Aishwarya Rai. We promise them certain out of the world things. Now, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. The primary thing is, if your consent form had been properly customized, if it contained the payment protocol and the terms and conditions, that nothing is refundable. If they knew the cost before in that regard, nobody would do that. I mean, sending of the legal notice and everything. Number 2, सबसे बड़ा क्लेश जो डालते हैं वो friends, relatives, known people ही डालते हैं. That is for you to understand. और अगर हम लोग सब कुछ, we are doing everything perfectly all right, we skip these things in those guys only. We skip these things in those guys only, friends, relatives, doctors, or whatever it is. Do you as a doctor, when you go to any hospital, God forbid, for any of surgical work or any kind of work where the consent is required, do they give you any leverage or freedom that aap doctor aap consent form mat sign karo? You don't get it. You also have to sign it like a normal patient. So why do you make the exception? In this case, even it is not a doctor. It is just a referral from a doctor. Consent verbally taken. So if you have taken the written consent with the payment protocol and the terms and conditions, it is there. Second thing, the backbiting. खुद ही आपने उसको भेजा, having a good faith that the world is full of nice people. It's not. I don't say even it is Kali Yuga, it is Kali Yuga 2.0. We have so many people pitching around our back. But then that is the thing we have to live with. If people are bitching behind our back, we are sending them, they are not going to say nice things. The third thing, the legal notice coming from a lawyer is a very, very minuscule step. Sometimes going to court, there are two ways. या तो किसी का वाकई में डैमेज हुआ है, वो जाएगा थाने. The inspector will call you, record the statements of both the sides, decide as per the investigation. If any damage has not been, you can say, tangibly done, patient को लगता है बहुत damage हो गया, doctor को लगता है कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, normal है. If a compromise is made under the table, no FIR is registered. Even if a damage has been made and FIR has been registered, maybe कोई influence पड़ गया because of any reason, the FIR के बाद investigation is continued and the challan is presented in the court. The second way is directly go to a lawyer. Lawyer sends you a notice. You don't reply back or you do whatever. Lawyer तो लिख के भेज देते ना बहुत कुछ. Complete refund plus 10 lakhs mental damage. इतना कौन सा दिमाग खर्च कर लिया कि तुम्हारा mental damage 10 लाख का हो गया? They are idiots. I'm frankly saying those lawyers are idiots. They have pre-framed those things and they send it. The bigger the amount, the bigger the opponent gets fearful. And as your family responded, any respectable family would do so. So I don't blame your family. कौन कोर्ट कचहरी के चक्कर में पड़े? That is the commonest line we have heard in the Bollywood movies and otherwise common Indian households. That is the way it is. The thing is, if you reply back to notice, then a further counter notice, when the lawyer also understands, because जिसका case है ना, वो तो बढ़ा चढ़ा के ही बताएगा. And in the court, the onus lies on the complainant to prove. और आपके against क्या allegation था? Substandard work. By refunding, you have agreed to the fact that you did a substandard work. By refunding. Second thing, अगर वो substandard था या नहीं था, some colleague must give it in written that this work is substandard. Then only it gets some material evidence. Then the lawyer also understands this thing that there is something बोलते ना केस में जान है, तो वो केस में जान दिखती, वो नहीं दिखी, that also means so your family reacting to it is fine, your relatives doing this to you is fine, your lawyer friend sending you a notice is fine, and we think कि friend है यार, उससे consent कैसे ले लें हम return में? This is the big mistake that we do. So I don't say that you did wrong, but if you were confident of your treatment, you should have stood by it. That is the only thing I can say. Food lodgement does not mean that you have done a substandard treatment. There may be multiple reasons of that. So, reacting to it, that you did good, you could have handled better, notice से मत डरा करो. Notice तो, let's suppose I am a lawyer, मेरे पास कोई रोता आया, मैंने उससे फीस ली, फीस के बदले में मैंने उसको नोटिस ड्राफ्ट करके दे दिया. इसमें पुलिस का, कोर्ट का, किसी का अभी तक कोई लेना देना नहीं है. हाँ, if I don't respond to the notice, they have the full right to go to court. तब भी material evidence on record is required. You said nothing written proof. वो कहाँ से होएगा? पहले तो दुखड़ा ही होता है ना. आधे से ज्यादा हिंदुस्तान तो लीगल नोटिस से डर जाता है, जो लॉयर के ऑफिस से आता है. लॉयर का नाम, लॉयर का पैनल, लॉयर का यू कैन से होल लिस्ट देख के लोग डर जाते हैं. ऑफ कोर्स इफ इट कम्स फ्रॉम अ फर्म, they have even bigger and grocery words. I've shared a couple of cases where I've shared legal notices also, probably not with in the YouTube. They're not there on YouTube. I shared them with my, you can say, alumni batch of MLE, consent alumni batch, where I've shared these things. But the kind of groggy statements they make are sometimes unfathomable. So probably आगे से legal notice से मत डरिए. Number one. Number two, stand by your treatment if you really believe that you have done good work. Then don't, if these two things are, you can say, firm on this, then don't have those third thing written में तो कुछ है नहीं, proof तो है नहीं. Proof कैसे करोगे? The onus is still on the complainant to prove that. Remember that. I hope you get the answer. Of course, part 2 is there. So getting a good orthoist consultant is difficult. I have had consultants leave midway through ortho treatments once they have received their share. How to handle this situation? Again, documentation is required whenever you are dealing with consultants. Contract bol do, terms and conditions bol do, whatever you can mention it like this. You charging full from the patient, 50% from the patient, you pay in an installment system to the consultant so that the accountability is there. Number one, criteria where you are not sure. Number two, this needs to make sure that line I always say, choose your consultants wisely based on their credibility, not based on your friendship with them. So if you are not choosing your consultants wisely, you are actually falling a prey to something substandard, who may be a good friend, but may not be a good professional colleague. और यूजली जो छोड़ के जाते हैं, यूजली फिर वही दोस्ती होती है. सेकेंड एंगल में भी वही आ गया. सुबह भी मैंने मेंशन किया था, इफ सम ऑफ यू हैव अटेंडेड, हिसाब अपनी जगह, रिलेशनशिप अपनी जगह. Keep personal and professional life separate. So it is up to you how you want to react to the situation. Payment wise, you want to react. Documentation wise, you want to react. Skill wise, you want to react. Your wish. There are multiple ways. Which brings me to query number 53 from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Cash flow, freelancing and bargain consultant. How to overcome all this? Now, one words can be too non-descriptive. Cash flow is basically when you have more spending and less earning, or you have more in your output and less in your input. That is how you decide a positive cash flow and a negative cash flow. Increase your services range, increase your or charge optimally or properly, and aim for a good OPD. Get a loophole of your expenses, which are like sinking, you can say leaking buckets in your Titanic, which are the leaking buckets. And based on that, you decide. Because if, for example, expenses and revenue are at 50-50, if you increase this by 10%, the relative difference would be 10. But if you increase this 10 and decrease this 10, the relative difference is 20. You suddenly arrive at 60-40 rather than 60-50. You arrive at that number in that sense. So think of it. That is what I can make out. Freelancing and bargain. Freelancing at others' clinic, bargaining. I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Consultant, how to overcome all this. Consultant, I just mentioned in the above query number 2 from Ranchi, Jharkhand. I mentioned the same about consultants. Choose your consultants wisely based on their skill set and credibility. I could not get what do you mean by freelancing and bargain. So, wow, query from Ludhiana, Punjab, my city. How to manage timings, how to take satisfying holiday on Sundays or on other day. Okay. Before I go to point 2, let me answer point 1. How to manage timings. I always believe that once you are settled into practice, you have the right to choose your time, your schedule, your way of working, everything. I find people with 20 years of practice still afraid to take a Sunday holiday. People with 15 years of practice still not willing to change time. If you can't do that after 15-20 years of practice, then it's absolutely of no use your goodwill. I changed my clinic timings last July. I had a timing of 9 to 1 and 4 to 8, almost since the start. No summer or winter, nothing of confusion, simply speaking 9 to 1, 4 to 8. Last year in July, I changed it to 9 to 2 and 4 to 7. Not even a single patient reacted. They all adjusted. The only thing we did correct was started conveying them at least 3 months before. That is the way to go about it. How to take satisfying holidays on Sundays? Simply, Sunday closed. Not write emergencies only on Sundays. Every pain is an emergency on a Sunday. So don't read that. Having said that, be empathetic. Even though my clinic is in my residence, I still don't entertain patients on Sundays. Unless it is an old patient, unless he's in genuine pain. And unless even though he is a next door neighbor or two house different from my place, I don't entertain them. They know it. They know it. It is simply about conveying to your patients. It's not being arrogant. It's about asking for your own rights. And I believe anybody after 15 years of practice can have those bragging rights. Simple. Just convey and communicate clearly and start it prior before you implement the same, so that it does not come as a surprise to any patient, so that an inconvenience is not caused. वो पुराने database को message करना वो करना, that you can still do. I believe you can say start informing 3 months in advance. It is a good enough time. If your system is already appointment based, कि नया पेशेंट भी आना है, पुराना भी आना है, रेफरल भी आना है, तो कॉल करके आना है, then absolutely no problem. जब कोई आ रहा है, टाइम ले रहा है, तो उस वक्त उसको कन्वे भी किया जा सकता है ना. These are our altered timings. People look out for these things. मैं पेशेंट को डेटाबेस सारा खोल के सबको पहले SMS भेजूं, WhatsApp भेजूं. No need. No need. You can do that to your amazing and breadwinning patients, but not to your whole entire database of 10 years. Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. They care for you when they are in need. If they're taking a prior appointment, set it up. Why do you need to do that? How to manage lab and material expenses versus profit. Now, this query is from my town, so I will reply it in my town context. People change lab in my town for 25 rupees also. 25 rupees, 50 rupees lab difference per PFM crown, per metal crown, per zirconia crown, change the lab. That is how the mentality goes. If your work is repeated, your lab does not repeat, or even if it repeats, you have to do the chairside time again, you have to take re-impression. I'm talking of the normal work, where you take the normal impression, not the CAD cam or the scanner or anything. Simple ground reality. If you are doing those things again, you're spending chairside time burning materials, where does that 50 rupees or 25 rupees go, which you have saved from a substandard lab? Lab contribution to your overall revenue is hardly changing. The lab contribution is hardly 0.01%. Maybe with a decent lab, you're being charged 20% of the overheads of your total expenses. With that lab, you will maybe have 19.9 or 19.8, 0.1, 0.2. I'm sorry, said 0.01. I said 0.1 and 0.2. So 0.1, 0.2 difference के लिए आधा भी हो जाए, एक भी हो जाए. Is it that important? No. So have a good lab which gives you good work, has you can say there may be fault at some ends. Your end impression may be wrong, their end casting may be short, or shrinkage may have happened during the casting. Make sure that they are comfortable with repeating. And of course, wherever you are at fault, compensate the damages in some way. That is the philosophy. I believe that we should have a win-win situation. Not that you always repeat, even I'm wrong, you repeat, even you are wrong, you repeat. That is a lose-win situation. Then the lab is not going to stay with you. Whether you decide to stay with them or not, they are not going to stay with you. So material expenses versus profit. Make a list of the things that you need. Don't rely on social media induced purchases. If those purchases are alluring for you, then you are probably setting up the wrong principles in your practice. Open up your drawers, open up your refrigerators. You will see so many things bought in the hope, wish and pray model. कि एक भी पेशेंट आ गया इसका तो मेरे पैसे पूरे हो जाएंगे, और लास्ट में एक आया भी था पूछने, मेरे पास था नहीं तो मैंने भेज दिया. You buy that. In the next 1 year, it is still lying in your refrigerator. Cost of expiry, cost of obsolescence. These are the things, these are the costings that matter to you. They are the leaking buckets. Purchase should always be based on number one, analysis of your record keeping. How many root canals you do in a month, how many crowns you do in a month, how many dentures you do in a month. Have a breakup of where the revenue is actually coming from in your clinic. That should decide the purchase. And not, ये भी अच्छा, ये भी अच्छा, ये भी अच्छा, दोनों ले लो, सब ऑफर में मिल रहा है. Offers in exponents or anything, they just induce impulsive buying. Much like a festival sale in a mall. सस्ता मिल रहा है तो सारा मॉल उठा के घर ले जाओ. That is not the way to do it. That is not the way to do it. So how to manage finance? Learn about proper numbers. Learn to have a proper buying record. Learn to implement those things. Query from Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. No standardization of charges That is one of the key ethical challenges from the Dental Council of India. No standardization of protocols for various procedures. That is for colleagues to be blamed, not the DCI. Poor management and communication skills. Now, no standardization charges के लिए responsible DCI है नहीं है. सबसे पहले हम लोग जरूर responsible है. Why? Irrespective of whatever feelings or thought processes you have, there is nothing perfect in the world, by the way. We have only one umbrella organization, Indian Dental Association. As I said, perfect hai nahi hai, second cheez hai. But that is one association that represents us. How many are the members? I gave you the numbers in the morning, total 3 lakh dentists. As per the official numbers of IDA, 75,000 are the members. So I believe थोड़ा सा वो भी inflate करके बोलते होंगे 70-72 होंगे, which makes it less than 25%. 23-24% बंदे अगर member हैं, how do we expect unity? The unity is on the other side. Even if 25%, 75 are non-members. अब IDA क्या करती है, CDE करती है, politics करती है, that is none of your concern. Even commenting on politicians is none of your concern for India. If you're not entering the system and just keep happy while commenting about it. If you wish to be the change, not in politics, at least in IDA, come in. IDA किसी के बाप की जागीर थोड़ा ना. घुसो, bring about the change that you want to. And I'm saying this on 2nd of October. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to be or you want to see. Start with yourself. If there are no standardization charges, who is to be blamed? Make all the dentists members. There is no other organization locally, individually. A few cities have succeeded. For example, Hyderabad has succeeded. For example, Vadodara has succeeded. A few groups who have succeeded in making members which are greater than IDA in their city. Whatever places I have gone to, I can dictate only that. There may be a few more as well in India. But pan-India, there is no organization that provides you umbrella protection. But we are not happy to join it. As I said, perfect हो ना हो वो second चीज है. आप बीच में घुसोगे, unity होएगी तभी standardization होएगी ना. The problem is people are not aware of this thing. कि charges direct के अलावा indirect भी होते हैं, costing उसके अलावा भी होती है. When I talk of PFM, they look at the lab charge of 500-600 rupees. They don't look at the overall costing कि हमारे को पूरी costing PFM कराउंड के 1925 रुपए पड़ रही है और close to 2000 rupees. A PFM costs you direct plus indirect. Don't believe me? Watch my costing videos. शायद आपको 100 या 200 कम ज्यादा आ जाए, but 2000 से आपका 800 पे नहीं आएगा. I can assure you that. So if you are not profitable, you are to be blamed. No one else. No standardization of protocols. The simple thing is, if you don't interact with your colleagues, if you don't interact with your neighbors, how do you know? The change can begin even from your own area. एरिया के 10-15 लोग इकट्ठे होकर यूनियन बना लो यार. छोड़ो आइडिया को, छोड़ो पैन इंडिया को, छोड़ो सबको. एरिया के 10-15 लोग इकट्ठे हो सकते हैं, कोई इनिशिएटिव ले सकता है इसमें से. बैक बाइटिंग भी खत्म हो जाएगी, स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन भी खत्म हो जाएगी, चार्जेस भी आ जाएंगे, प्रोटोकॉल भी कॉमन हो जाएंगे कि हम साला एक दूसरे के प्रति पीठ पीछे नहीं बोलेंगे. एंड दिस इज अ हैबिट. स्टार्ट इट फ्रॉम योर ओन एरिया. स्टार्ट तो करो. टेक इनिशिएटिव. Take an initiative. Make a union in your area, so that at least area-wise unity is in your dentistry sphere is there. It needs only a small ignition. Start it in your area. Be an exemplary one for Indians. Other Indians, I mean. Poor management and communication skills. Learn them. Learn them. We are not taught the business side, business nuances of dentistry, so it is better to learn them. Rather than crying over it that we don't know it. Learn them. Make that as a learning goal. Documentation not taught and standardized. I'll announce a workshop. I announced it yesterday. I'll give in the details evening. Want to learn it? Join my workshop. I'm not selling you. I'm just making you aware. I'm making you aware. नहीं सर मैं ऑनलाइन नहीं सीख पाऊंगा, मैं फिजिकल में सीखता हूं. लिमिटिंग बिलीफ्स, गेट ओवर देम. द वर्ल्ड हैज चेंज्ड. द वर्ल्ड हैज चेंज्ड. मैं मां के पेट से पीडीएफ पढ़ के पैदा नहीं हुआ था. मैं भी 2010 तक फिजिकल बुक्स ही पढ़ता था. मैं बचपन से वीडियो बनाने में निंजा नहीं था, अभी भी नहीं हूं, बट एटलीस्ट आई हैव ओवरकम दैट फियर. Don't give those excuses. I can't face the camera. I'm shy to face the camera. That are all bullshit excuses. The way we are undergoing mass modernization, I mentioned it in the morning itself. The way we are undergoing mass modernization, if you are afraid of that, lock yourself in a box bed. And I can assure you, humanity is not going to miss you. They're not going to miss you. So stop giving yourself excuses. It takes 1,000 reasons to yourself to give an excuse. Only one reason to do a thing. Proper customization of consent not taught in colleges. Learn it. सब कुछ कॉलेज सिखा देगा. कॉलेज में तो कंसेंट का सब्जेक्ट भी नहीं होता. मेडिकल ज्यूरिस्प्रूडेंस होता है ओरल सर्जरी के साथ एक छोटा सा सब्जेक्ट जिसमें क्वेश्चन कभी भी नहीं आता, कोई पढ़ता भी नहीं है. मैंने भी नहीं पढ़ा था. Till 2006 and 7 I didn't know the E of ethics. ठीक है, पता था एक कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट मिला था at the time of registration of my license in year 99, 98. I got that from my Punjab State Dental Council. पढ़ा हुआ आज भी कहीं. I didn't understand the meanings. आधे से ज्यादा वर्ड क्या लिखे हुए थे. Slowly पता लगना शुरू हुआ. When I went to National Law School, I actually got an idea of it. I've learned that thing in a hard way. National Law School, Bengaluru, मेरे घर से कम 2500 किलोमीटर दूर है, 2500 किलोमीटर दूर है. I went there for 2 years every 2 months. And they didn't teach me dental consent. They taught me medical consent. With years of practice, I implemented that into dental terminology. How much effort, how much money, how much, everything has gone through that. I'm giving you raw form of consent in the workshop. And you say, it is expensive, it is online, it is this, all those excuses. You think, जाओ नेशनल लॉ स्कूल से सीख लो. और कोई सिखा रहा था? मेरे को तो मेडिकल सिखाई थी, डेंटल सिखा रहा था, सीख लो उनसे. Just giving an example. Don't give these excuses. College सिखाए नहीं सिखाए, college domain skills सिखा दे, बहुत बड़ी बात है. You're talking of accessory skills. These skills are not taught in college. They will never be. आने वाले 5-7 साल 10 साल में तो I can't see those things happening. So if you have not learned certain things, learn from the one who does it, who has done it, walk the extra mile and walk that path and try to engineer those things in his system and is teaching them. If still not satisfied, no problem. Learn it from someone who wants to. Query from Mumbai, Maharashtra, financial discipline, increasing cash flow. Financial discipline, again, I think these two queries are related to finance pain points. Problem is, हम लोगों ने फाइनेंस ग्रुप अलग बनाया हुआ, प्रैक्टिस मैनेजमेंट ग्रुप अलग बनाया हुआ, पूरा ऑब्जेक्टिव सबको क्लियर दिया हुआ, पेन पॉइंट्स के लिए सेपरेटली पोस्ट किया हुआ. नो थॉट इवन व्हेन यू आर पुटिंग इन, यू कैन से योर पेन पॉइंट्स आल्सो. जब फाइनेंस के पेन पॉइंट्स लिए तो उसमें प्रैक्टिस मैनेजमेंट के आ रहे थे, इसमें वो आ रहे थे. इतना बड़ा फाइनेंस लिखा उसके ऊपर. पीपल डोंट सी financial discipline. What do I answer over here? Increasing cash flow. I'm skipping this question. So query from Shirpur, Nashik, Maharashtra, lower patient conversion ratio. It only comes from primarily your low confidence in your skills. If you are not confident of your skill set, you will surely not convey it with conviction to your patients. The moment they ask you for a before and after, you will falter and flutter. And if that is happening, that means you lack in those skills. Nothing wrong. Awareness and identification of a problem is the first step. Understand that you lack in this, acknowledge that, accept it, make that as a learning goal, seeko. Once you have a confidence over that skill, you will automatically have the confidence of selling it also. प्रैक्टिस उस चीज की जाती है जिसके लिए आप जानते हो लेकिन बोलना नहीं जानते. लेकिन अगर स्किल में कमी है तो फिर प्रैक्टिस ऑफ द स्किल में कहीं ना कहीं फंस जाओगे आप. 50 to 60% overall partly maybe due to not panicking the patient, as in a tier 4 city, most patients just want medicines for pain relief. If I try to convince more than they doubt, then they doubt. So I use push phenomenon, and so maybe the less conversion ratio. These are the numbers that are a figment of your imagination. 50 to 60%, you are making a figment of your imagination. It does not work that way. If they want medicine, because you have not been vocal enough to create the awareness of saving that tooth, of equating the same to a body organ, of creating a sense of urgency in their mind that this treatment is needed. It's simple. 2 new clinics coming up with further decreasing the footfall. Not worried about the discounted charges or about the competition, just worried that some patients may opt them by just comparing consultation charges. How many people actually do a window shopping in case of healthcare? Not even 10%. That is, I don't say it. It is the data all around the net. And Indian data, not you can say 10% लोग सिर्फ rate compare करते हैं. And those are C category convenience patients. What we have made a hue and cry is clinic में आते ही patient वो है जो rate के लिए करता है. As if people are not worried about their health. Open up social media, open up Facebook, see cases people are doing. Full mouth implants, full mouth treatments, full mouth kind of treatments, so many things. 2-4-5 हजार में तो नहीं कर रहे हैं ना, 5-6-7 लाख में कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग सिर्फ 1000-2000 की चिंता में डूबे बैठे हैं. Get real. 2 क्लिनिक की जगह यहाँ पे 20 क्लिनिक भी खुल जाएंगे ना, कंपटीशन नहीं बढ़ रहा, आबादी भी उतनी स्पीड से बढ़ रही है. एक साल में 5 डेंटिस्ट खुल जाएंगे, एक साल में आपके एरिया में 5 लोग नहीं बढ़े, 5000 बढ़े होंगे. इस स्पीड से पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है अपनी. डेंटिस्ट बढ़ रहे हैं ना, आज तक 3 लाख ही हुए हैं आजादी से लेके अब तक. 3 लाख ऑफिशियल नंबर है, लेकिन आजादी से लेके हम उस वक्त 30 करोड़ से 150 करोड़ हो गए हैं. डोंट लुक एट द नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स, सी द नंबर ऑफ वॉल्यूम. तो स्टॉप गिविंग दीज एक्सक्यूजेस ऑफ न्यू पेशेंट. वो करने चूज करने दो, वो कर रहे हैं चूज करने दो. आपको लगता है जो फुल माउथ कर रहे हैं, क्या उनकी कंसल्टेशन फीस 100 रुपए होगी कि 50 रुपए होगी कि फ्री कंसल्टेशन का कैंप लगाया होगा? नहीं ना. They just targeted the A and the B. They are not bothered about C and D. Why are you bothered? Costly dental equipment such as OPG, CBCT, scanner, laser, as I have every basic equipment, upgrading to advanced equipment is a concern, as patients here don't understand the importance of having them. Patient के understand करने से पहले you have to understand whether those are needed with you or not. Costly dental equipments are not a showcasing of your facilities or a showcase of your facilities. They are basically meant to give you enhanced revenue in bargain. The return over investment is the first thing. So पहले देखो उस चीज के लिए आपके पास patient भी हैं कि नहीं हैं. One of my friends is opening up a clinic very soon. He's actually having a clinic more than you can say mine. You can say mine is 24 years old. His clinic is 26 years old. He's a few years senior to me. He's building up a new clinic, and he asked me about the specifications of the OPG and everything. I gave him that. I said, "Are you buying it?" He said, "Dil to bahut hai, lekin when I listen to you, I get fearful कि तू 2 गालियां सुनाएगा मेरे को." Why? I said, keep a provisions. We are renovating clinic in a different space or making a new clinic in a different space for his son and daughter. Fair enough. Make those. Keep a provision, but don't buy it. Because the place where he is constructing his clinic, 100 मीटर पे शहर का सबसे बड़ा OPG center है, जहां पे 80% of my city OPGs go. And it is a wonderful center giving a good, you can say, good diagnostic output with the no compromise whatsoever. Charges की मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Charges तो सबके almost same ही होते हैं OPG के, किसी के 50 कम 100 ज़्यादा. That is absolutely okay. And anyways, the patient has to pay. But keep a provision, but don't buy it. Don't buy it. Because you need to understand the return over investment for that. So that is one part. You understand where your clinic revenue is coming from. That is another part. So if you are not knowing where are your patients coming from, शायद आप काम कर रहे हो डेंचर वर्क कर रहे हो, शायद आप काम कर रहे हो रूट कनाल का काम कर रहे हो. What will be the scanner useful to you in that regard if you don't have that much amount of implant or crown and bridge cases? So understand where the revenue is coming from. That is going to help you a lot. Query from Kottayam, Kerala. Not able to increase patient flow as I'm not available all days in my clinic. I go for consultation and in my absence, not confident of appointing assistant doctor. So the question is, if you are not trusting colleagues, why will your patients trust them? If your patients don't trust them, you will have dropouts. You will not have increased flow. So means what I get from your query number one is that you are not delegating because of that fear. So you are not present because you are gone for consultation. So you want your OPD also to be good and your consultation also to be good, and you want to have a good trustworthy assistant. Best of three worlds. सिर्फ उपन्यासों में होता है, बॉलीवुड में होता है, टॉलीवुड में होता है, रियल जिंदगी में नहीं होता है. People feel जब मेरा पेशेंट फ्लो बढ़ गया तब मैं I'll cut down on consultation and then I'll join them. It doesn't work this way. It doesn't work this way. Understand that. So if you want to do everything, consultation भी मैं कर लूं, clinic का काम भी मैं कर लूं, clinic में revenue भी ज्यादा आ जाए, खर्चा भी ना हो, doesn't work. Doesn't work that way. Learn to delegate if you want to increase your patient flow. We have a population problem. We have an employment problem in India. ये नहीं कि काम करने वाले नहीं है, अच्छा काम करने वाले नहीं है, ये बोल सकते हैं हम लोग, पर काम करने वाले नहीं है कि प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. If you are not confident, then the problem lies here, not with this opposite person. You can't pinpoint a अगर वो मिलता नहीं है. Just because one person didn't turn out to be good does not mean, or one person in someone else's clinic did not turn out to be good, you believe that this is going to be the case in your clinic also? No. बहुत सारी चीजें हम लोगों के यहाँ पे फॉल्ट है. लिमिटिंग बिलीफ जिसको बोलते हैं. Mentioned about it in morning also. Get over these things and you will realize the world is more beautiful than we actually think. There are more trustworthy people around you than you actually think. Patients discontinue treatment, especially in RCT cases when pain is relieved. That means, again, you have not been able to stress upon the importance of saving the tooth or the complete steps of saving just for the fear of losing the patient initially. If the ball is broken and you believe that the direct restoration would not be the proper, perfect post-operative output, then advise for the crown immediately at the start itself. That your root canal has 3 steps. Root canal, core and crown. Mention it. Total treatment cost would be 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever you are charging with the PFM crown. Would be this. First, we will do the first step. But you should be knowing after your pain relief, after a first step, your treatment would not be over. Set the ground first. Set the ground first. Give a clarity to the patient. We jump on to the patient. फटाफट एरोटर कसो, syringe load करो, patient आया, consent गई, तेल लेने. बात भी नहीं की, बताया भी नहीं. पेन में आया, पेन रिलीव करो. Why? Previous exposure to LA. Done a patch test? Not done it? Digging your own grave. चाहे कुछ ना हुआ हो आज तक. Don't take these steps lightly. Not able to convert patients for crown and bridge treatments. Importance, अगर आप रूट कनाल की नहीं बना पाए तो उसकी कहां से बना पाओगे? कंसल्ट आप करने जाते हो, इट्स फाइन. वहां पे आपको सिर्फ जाके पकाए केस के ऊपर काम करना, जो आपके क्लिनिक ओनर ने आपके लिए प्लेट में डाल के रखा है. Where will you learn these tricks? People don't cut down on their own work and then they believe that my back is hurting, I'm overworking. All those are fine. We have discussed these problems in the previous session number 4 also. One of the queries was there. The question is, we have this problem in our profession. We know overwork can burn and break our neck and back. So why are we indulging in that? Had a call from a very good friend yesterday, won't name, of course. Mentioned a few problems in the clinic. Said, no problem. We'll get on a Zoom call sometime later in the week and we will discuss this. The problem is not with me, problem is with my wife. And I know the couple very well. And I genuinely believe that it's not exactly a problem. The mindset belief was there. I wouldn't say that my bhabhi was wrong, but in a way, I call her bhabhi only, my good friend's wife. So I wouldn't say she was wrong, but a limiting belief again, where you're not able to delegate work confidently, where we believe that every staff member has to be taught by us only. So if you are lacking in certain skills, if you believe you have the skills of doing good work on your selling part, work on your MS&O, marketing skills and operations. Some of you may not have attended. Read the notes posted by 2 or 3 colleagues in the morning. Raghu posted, Dr. Jessica posted, Aarti posted. 3 or 4 people have posted their notes. Read them. They've given you chocolates to eat. Some of you didn't attend in the morning. See, the problem is we are happy to list our problems. 250 लोग ने प्रॉब्लम कर दी. एक भी सेशन में 250 लोग नहीं आए अटेंड करने कि शायद मेरी प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस हो जाए. We are fools. We are doing this thing for humanity. हमको अच्छे कर्म करके जाना स्वर्ग में. आप लोग तो नरक में जाओगे सारे, है ना? We are doing this for स्वर्ग and नरक voyage for all of us. We are not. We also have practices. I have other things also other than practice. I have my trips also scheduled. 2 days back, I was in Bangalore. 2 nights I did not sleep. Had a 11-hour rigorous session on Saturday. Traveling in the night so that I can reach back on Sunday morning. Sunday slept the whole day yesterday. And I'm here on a national holiday delivering to you. Swarg Narak ke liye nahi kar rahe hain. That serving the community. That my fellow colleagues are in a problem. If I am in a position to solve that, let me help them. Whatever I can, at least once, twice, thrice a month. In one day, if I can, I'm doing that. So कोई अच्छे बुरे कर्म के लिए हम लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं. We're trying to help you. But the problem is, India में सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम बताने में लोग उसको अपना बहुत अच्छा समझते हैं. प्रॉब्लम बता दी, मेरे दिल का बोझ हल्का हो गया. अब प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन हो ना हो. And there is second category. Those who have come and attend, they listen. हाँ, सुनने में अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा. YouTube पे भी सुना था पहले आपसे, पर इसको चेंज कैसे करें? Change is the most inflicting damage that we try to do it on ourselves. नहीं, don't touch what is working. If it was working, why would have you put it as a pain point? It was not working. Get over it. वो माइंड में आ जाता, नहीं मैं गलत कैसे हो गया? मैं गलत तो हो ही नहीं सकता. आपको सोने के, आपकी किस्मत सोने की कलम से लिखी गई थी भगवान द्वारा. नहीं, सबकी एक ही पेंसिल लिखी गई थी. So you're not that special. मेरी भी नहीं लिखी गई थी. I'm not that special. It's your hard work which separates you, which makes you. लोग बोलते हैं ना, मैं लक नहीं है, मेरा लक खराब है, मेरे पास पेशेंट नहीं आते, मेरा लक खराब है. एफर्ट क्या डालते हो? What effort you put in for changing your luck? If nothing, then you have no right to blame the Almighty. मुझे ऐसे, I sometimes get that feeling कि डेंटिस्ट जब कोई BDS में एडमिशन लेता है ना, वो इसलिए लेता है most of the times कि उसको MBBS मिस हुआ हो. I'm not talking of today, I'm talking of 10, 20, 30 years back. कि वो जो डिप्रेशन है ना, that carries on perennially. मुझे MBA भेजने ने मिली, मैं भगवान से नाराज हूं, मैं सारी जिंदगी सुधरूंगा नहीं. As if we have made a, you can say, stamp paper bond with the God Almighty. You whatever give me, I will still not be happy. Happiness is a habit. कुछ लोग कम में खुश हो जाते हैं, कुछ लोग बहुत में भी खुश नहीं. So whatever you don't know, make that as a learning goal. If you're confident of your skills, learn selling skills. If you have less footfall, learn marketing skills. But problem ये है ना, आपकी प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन भी दे दिया, करना आपको है, करने से पहले सुनना भी आपको है, लेकिन आप इस पेशेंट कर रहे हो या कंसल्टेशन पे हो, इट्स योर चॉइस. I can't do anything. Query from Mandi, Himachal Pradesh. We have queries from everywhere. We were in Kerala in the previous query. Now we have come up north to Mandi, Himachal Pradesh. I've recently opened up my clinic. It's been 6 months, though I'm graduated in year 2 in 2016 and took a break for PG preparation. But unfortunately, I didn't get a government seat and private I could not afford. So my pain point is that it's been 3 years of practice. Okay. When patients saw me, they think I'm too young and might be fresher. Some express the concern and some don't. So the one who expresses, I explain them that I'm not fresher in this field since 6 years. But some who don't express, they told other local people that I am fresher, which they self-assume. I also get to know about this from one of my patients. Even I started wearing more Indian attire rather than jeans so that I look old enough for them. Still, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's not my fault if I look too young. See, people spend millions and billions of dollars on this planet to look young. And you want to look old just for your clinic, just on the lighter side. But what I mean to say is, why do you base your mindset on one of your patients or two of your patients? It is not a problem. For example, you graduated in 2016. Clinic के बाहर एक जो आपका ग्लो साइन या फ्लेक्स होता है ना, या even at your clinic entry glass, if it is there, serving dentistry since 2016. पता? On your prescription pad also, established 2019, 2018, whenever your clinic started, ESTD.2019. Somebody says you are fresh, you are young. See, clinic ke bahar, I graduated in 2016. This is there. Silent messages. You don't need to stress upon this. You don't need to do a reverse aging kind of a thing. You can say, चेहरे पे makeup कम लगा लो या ना लगा लो या reverse aging कर लो या anti botox लगा लो. Just kidding. Don't take. And attire changing. It's not that you have to convince. Aamir Khan, almost at the age of 55, still can play a college student role. And that too with conviction. I hope you agree with me. That too with conviction. Is there anything wrong that he has a boyish face even till today? Of course, Salman and Shah Rukh do a bit of reverse aging. You can say use a technology to look younger. But Aamir Khan is a natural youngster at the age of 55. Akshay doesn't appear to be 55. The way he jumps and you can say does all those stunts. He doesn't look. There is nothing wrong. Simple place, established clinic in this day, this year, or serving dentistry since this. This is not a problem. This is not a pain point. Safed dye mat laga lena reverse aging ke naam pe. Just kidding. Don't take it seriously. Query from Wardha, Maharashtra. I think a similar query was there in the finance pain point also. Let's read it out. I'm not seeing them. So it's been 4 years. I have set up my practice. It was in April 2019. I own a single chair practice in a town with population of around 1 lakh. In the initial days, my OPD count was around 20 per month. Then the COVID came and actually my practice boomed because in lockdown. I'm not sure of the reason. But since last year, it is just stagnant. Or you can say even lower. Now the OPD count is not going beyond 40 patients per month. Now I'm so confused what to do. On top of that, the patients visiting me are mostly window shoppers or dislodged crown replacement patients. Because of this mindset is also going into negativity, and I'm not able to do consultation properly because I feel that I'm getting nervous and at the same time desperate to convince the patient. In the initial stages of my clinic, I did some pamphlet distribution for marketing, have Facebook, Google My Business page for marketing free of cost. I'm not sure what should I do further. Whether to stick with the same location or shift. However, shifting is not an option I could consider financially because I'm so broke by the end of the month that sometimes I have to ask my parents for rent and clinical staff payments. My pain point is how to keep patient flow consistent, how to keep on increasing patient footfall. If this situation of mine continues for next month, then I wonder what will happen. In continuity to the above mentioned pain point, this is the reason I am not able to raise my charge, because I already have less number of patients. And if those patients also refuse to do the treatment, then I may not earn at all. This has happened to me personally because patients refuse treatment as I charge slightly higher than my colleagues. You will get the mediocre prices in my town. This is another pain point because I'm not getting high ticket patients in my clinic. Almost 90% patients always respond bahut zyada hai, and the situation I'm going through, I feel like is crying. A few patients refuse a root canal treatment from me because my charges are high. Now let me tell you, my charge is 2,500 for a root canal treatment. I wonder if 2,500 is high for them, what will happen when I increase to 3,000? Okay, let's go back and split it up one by one. Okay. So the OPD count 20, 30, 40 keep on shifting, even 20, even booming 40, 50 is not a good count. Even if your OPD boomed in COVID, I would know how much you mean by boom in this case. If that went up to 80 per month, even that is 2.5 patients per day. Or if I take 25 working days, even that is a little more than 3 per day. Even that is on the lower side. So when you sit free, you will have the mind going into a negative space. If you are not getting patients, there can be 2 reasons primarily. There can be multiple, but I'm giving you 2 reasons primarily. Number 1, you are invisible for your target audience. You don't exist at all. Or you are not doing enough of community reach to make yourself visible. These are 2 different points. Although the visible was the common thing, either you are not visible to your target market and you are not making any effort to make yourself visible. So it is a 2-way effort that you have to do. Rather than sitting in your clinic, waiting and hoping for the patient to come in, and then you start the convincing game, is a wrong approach. Go out there in your community, create awareness. I mentioned this in the morning session also. The community outreach is one of the strongest things you can do. Strongest things you can do. Any school, any college, any club, any senior citizen, any kitty party, any, you can say wherever, not kitty party exactly, but any ladies club kind of a, you can say, you can have those things, do an awareness sessions, educate them, not with an intention to sell, just create awareness. Awareness means awareness of dentistry, which will give you what? It will give you visibility. You conveying certain things, it will improve your vocal skills. When you do those things again and again, you become credible in your, you can say, in your arena or in your area. And with credibility comes respect and authority stamp on you, that you know this subject. And once you have an authority, that means people will vie for searching for you, rather than you vying for, you can say, you hoping for those patients. And once you are visible enough, this is offline. Online, whatever cases you have done so far, set that up. Set up a nice website. Set it your social media. Rajat is doing so much wonderful stuff by, you can say, educating you all on GMB and other parameters of social media. How many people are participating? 20, 25. Go to his clinic. He has a bigger and a busier practice than most of you. He still takes out time for all of you. So don't underestimate कि हम लोग वेले इसलिए कर रहे हैं, या हमें स्वर्ग जाना नरक नहीं जाना तो इसलिए कर रहे हैं. शायद हम भी नरक जाएं आपकी तरह, या आप स्वर्ग जाओ हम नरक जाएं. That is a different matter altogether. But that is not the question. The question is serving the community. If you go out there, make the patients aware, you are serving the community. And there lies the magic. And do it online. Create your online awareness present. If you are not present online, you're missing out on a huge chunk of patients. And Wardha is not a small town as per my knowledge. It is definitely not a tier 4. Can be between tier 2 and 3 as per my knowledge. But the question is, the real question is, are you willing to make that shift? Are you willing to make that change? If the answer is no, then my answer will also go like a bouncer over your head. It is not going to help you in any way. Then one thing will stay permanent: crying. That will stay permanent. And blaming God and everyone around you. कि मेरी तो किस्मत ही ऐसी है. गॉड चाहता ही नहीं था मैं ये हो. गॉड चाहता था तभी उसने शायद मेरे पास आपका पेन पॉइंट भेजा, रजत के पास पेन पॉइंट भेजा, हम लोगों ने आपको बताया, लेकिन आप नहीं चाहते थे कि आपकी लाइफ में कुछ चेंज आए. Pick up who is wrong. Pick up, choose the option who is wrong. There can be multiple ways to do a thing. Which clicks for you, you don't know. 4 साल 5 साल अपना एफर्ट करने के बाद, if you are not in that position, take the help of someone who has done it, who's been there, who has more experience than you. हम लोग ये सब कुछ फ्री में कर रहे हैं, इसके पैसे नहीं लेते आपसे. Have that notion. If the pain flow is not consistent, then you will keep on begging the same from your parents throughout your life. If you don't make a shift, if you don't make a change, हम लोग बता सकते हैं, इंप्लीमेंट आपको करना है, एक्शन आपको लेना है, एफर्ट आपको डालना है, कंसिस्टेंसी आपको लानी है. हम सिर्फ गाइड कर सकते हैं. It is a 50-50 partnership. Even if you hire a consultant, a paid one, who can guide you step by step, hand hold करे, हाँ मुझे सिखाए, पैसे लेके सिखाए, चलो मान लो. It will also be a 50-50 partnership with him. He'll tell you nice ideas, maybe better than mine. He'll give you nice ideas. Implementation effort तो आपका काम है ना. You can't say consultant आके आपकी जगह सब कुछ करे, कंटेंट आपको बना के दे दे, पोस्ट भी आपकी जगह कर दे. नहीं होगा, वो करना आपको ही पड़ेगा. You feel that journey is tough, please leave practice, get a job. And I say that with utmost respect to the salaried people. I don't mean that selling is something, so salaried job is something which is downtrodden, or you can say looked upon. It's just that you don't have the fabric of being an entrepreneur. Not everybody can run a business. Absolutely fine. If you don't want to make a change, shift to a job. And I say it openly, blunt-faced, poker-faced. Accept it. Acceptance is the first step. नहीं है कोई बात, maybe next जन्म में शायद कर लो. ये तो crying will stay common. Charges ले रहे हो नहीं ले रहे हो to a chunk of small patients who are coming, not getting converted. Fear of insecurity आ गई ना आपके अंदर, to fear of losing the patient. That is never going to go away. So get a hang of those things. We can only guide you. Query from Mehsana, Gujarat. Difficult patient conversion ratio. Difficult patient conversion ratio का क्या मतलब है भाई साहब? थोड़ा सा कुछ चंद्र प्रकाश डाल देते हैं इसके ऊपर, हमको भी कुछ समझ आ जाती. Difficult patient conversion ratio I can only mean is that you have low patient conversion ratio. Work on your selling skills. एक लाइन में आपने दिया, एक लाइन में मैंने दे दिया. Thank you so much. Query from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Convincing the patient is the main pain point. Convincing doesn't need to be done. Let me throw a truth bomb at you. Convincing doesn't need to be done. If you make them understand the value, if you make them understand why buy this, why buy from me, why buy now, using your USP competitive advantage, then you automatically will fall in that arena where the patient approaches you. नहीं नहीं नहीं, बचा लो, किसी तरीके भी बचा लो मेरा दान. That is the way they are going to look at it. Query from tier 3 city in India. How to set up new clinic? How much to invest? What all to buy? क्या बात है. How to set up new clinic? मेरा YouTube पे वीडियो है, प्लीज देख लेना. How much to invest? Depends upon your budget. What all to buy? गूगल कर लो, यूनिकॉर्न की वेबसाइट पे आपको पूरी लिस्ट मिल जाएगी कौन कौन सी चीज मिल जाएगी. This is not a pain point. This is not a pain point. Okay, so I don't know why people put up these kind of queries and मैं अब क्या बोलूं. Anyways, query from Quatre Bornos La Ville des Fleurs Mauritius. Okay. So good work not being able to market. So marketing is prohibited by the council here. In this scenario, word of mouth becomes the most reliable way for patients to know that there. But it is a slow process and a bit disheartening. Please advise 3 ways in which I can market my work. I posted one of my videos on YouTube. 3 ways or 4 ways of marketing other than word of mouth. Very recently. Do watch that, but I'll come to. I understand your council does not allow to market. So does ours. So does ours. Openly to humko bhi allowed nahi hai na. So the thing is, when you're marketing, you don't showcase that my clinic is at this place. It has so much of you can say carpet area. It has these kind of facilities. And I am equipped with these kind of qualifications. Please visit me for your dental treatment. This is advertisement. But if you're educating, education marketing is one of the best marketings. And I do that completely. When I learned the finer nuances of education marketing, one of my mentors asked me, have you heard of this thing? I said, I'm doing that. I'm doing it since a couple of years. It's the year 2016 or 17. So I'm doing it since a couple of years. Okay. So that came to this summary. So marketing prohibited, education marketing, as I said, what I mean by that here is you educate your common public about the common problems. You educate your target patients about the common solutions. Maybe have a call to action in the end, or maybe not. But to give your identity, you can have your name logo at the back as your background wall also, without giving away too much, so that the patient comes searching for you. Relying on word of mouth is luck by chance. It will be some months Diwali, it will be some months Diwali. You're never going to have the control over the number of leads that are going to, or referrals that are going to walk into your practice. So if they are not going to walk into your practice, the simplest way I can suggest you is that put it on your website. As a part of your before and after cases, you're showcasing your gallery. That is not marketing. That is your address. I bet that is not counted in any councils, you can say, under that. Somebody needs to pick up a doctor. He needs to have validation. I'm not sure what are the guidelines. If you can send me that, I'll be happy to read them. So my clinic is small. I want to shift to a new location, but I'm a bit scared. As 11 years, I'm at same place and OPD might fall a bit even if I change the place. The simplest question I ask is, do you have those patients who are coming to you in the first, who were coming to you in the first 3-4 years? Are they still coming to you? If your answer is no, then probably you already have the answer to this query. Not everybody is still going to stick with you, even if you shift or not shift. So why this fear? Make a planned gradual shift. If you feel that your space is the constraint in offering good work or in offering good quality work for more number of patients, that you want to delegate work also, but still not able to because of your space constraints, then it is better that you take a planned step. Start informing your target audience 3 to 6 months in advance. All your running patients, we are shifting to a premises nearby. The first thing would be to hunt for a premises nearby where it should not be much far away from your existing place. And of course, fall within your budget and all other aspects also. If it falls into your budget, if it is not far from your clinic, start preparing your patients. Some will miss out. Some will say yes, some will say no. So what? Who's next? As simple as that. As simple as that. So ask yourself, if the old patients are still not all patients, old patients are sticking to you, then what is the use of that? For bridges, I want to make patients sign consent form. I don't have much idea how to begin. Consent form for RCT also, how should I begin? See, I'm not sure how the consent process works in your country. So the only thing I can advise you is, I have a consent workshop this month in October. If that suits you, you can join in and learn the nuances of the things that should be done, at least in India. I'm not sure that system works anywhere else or not, but that is the thing I can guide you. Or the rest, it all depends upon how the law is there, what kind of negligence suits are filed, what kind of cases you can say people go in for it, because my system is very crude and raw. I even take the basic things into account when I teach consent. All those basic things, even those who are mentioned in the tier 3, tier 4 as well. I teach those things. If you want to come on board, you're most welcome. But if not, with a forewarning, I'm not sure whether that system would be applicable in your country or not. So take an informed decision. Query from Delhi, India. Because of small clinics, patients underestimate my skills. Okay. The question is, how do you come to that conclusion that patients underestimate your skills because of surface area? I started in a 10/7 clinic with a second-hand chair in the year 2000. The clinic that was supposed to be opened up by a friend, he had bought that setup. He had shifted to that place. He was supposed to shift with that chair, but somehow you can say, shifted to that. But in less than 3 years, my new clinic was ready. And within 6 months of opening up, I shifted to full-time practice also. In the beginning of my clinic, I was doing only practice in the evening for the first 3 years. But by 2.5 years, my setup was ready. We shifted after exactly 3 years. 1st Jan 2000, I started clinic. 1st Jan 2003, I shifted to my new clinic. 15th June 2003, I shifted to full-time practice in less than 6 months. Never had that adjustment period. And trust me, that period of mine was pre-MBA period, when I didn't have knowledge of all these things. I was as naive as you guys, most of you. So space constrained, if you equate with skills, I'm not sure that is a right comparison to make. People have thrived well in smaller clinics, and people are sitting idle in bigger clinics, if space was the concern or skills was the concern. A larger clinic or a bigger clinic does not automatically guarantee that you will have a good skill set. So I'm not sure what makes you make that comparison. So whenever charges are increased, patients think that we have increased the charges unnecessarily. It is your thought process. In the post-COVID world, trust me, increasing charges has been like a cakewalk. I personally can tell you from those experiences, if you are doing it or not, I'm not sure. But before COVID, we had a few issues in raising prices every year. We used to face some kind of, you can say, protest. I won't say protest, but some kind of, you can say, indifference from the patients. But post-COVID, people have understood that the world is inflationary around us. They have changed so many things in their sterilization, hygiene, and other protocols. So everything comes at a cost. And everything is rising, you can say, each month. Car prices of Mahindra has risen 3 times. January में सब car prices बढ़ाते हैं. Mahindra ने January में बढ़ाया, April में बढ़ाया, May में बढ़ाया. And they are planning again near Diwali. And फिर New Year पे फिर बढ़ाएंगे. So that makes it 5 or 6 raises in one calendar year. Have people stopped buying those cars? No. Rather, there is a surge in buying Tata and Mahindra cars than before. Because they are make in India, one. Second, they are supposed to have a robust build than Maruti, which is coming out with paper thin metal. कहाँ से लाते इतना पतला metal पता नहीं. Paper thin metal, they are famous for these days. No crash test being done. Now people question them. This is the best time to increase charges. You have faced no indifference, no protest whatsoever. People understand सब कुछ तो महंगा हो ही रहा, तो ये भी महंगे हो गए तो क्या हो गया? Understand. Have to adjust with everyone, patients as well as assistant, as if we have created a big crime after becoming doctor, have to bow in front of everyone. I'm sorry, I don't agree to that. If you don't set the rules, if you don't set your boundaries, if you don't set your limits and your rules, people are going to take you for a ride. You have to understand where lies the problem. If you have not set those boundaries, set them. Make sure it's my way or highway. You don't need to bow in front of anyone. It's not a crime being a doctor. Not too long back, we were considered the next ones after God. So understand that and value yourself first before others can value you. If you think of yourself as a criminal, that being a doctor is a crime or I am a criminal, then people are not going to respect you. So value yourself first before people can value you. Query from Kandukur near Hyderabad. A lot of relatives, close family members coming and getting treatment done. I'm not able to put the money factor in front of them. I don't know how to handle this situation. Set up a clinic policy. 10, 15, 20. 5 is a joke. Beyond 20 is a crime. Both the things. 5% discount is a joke. Beyond 20% is eating up into your profits. I don't encourage both. So keep 2 or 3 slabs. 10% for maybe known people, friends, relatives. 15% for 2 known friends or 2 close relatives. 20% for doctors or people from same profession. That is the benchmark I follow. You're free to not give. You're free to give 0%. Absolutely okay with that also. But convey it beforehand. That is the best way to handle it. Make a clinic policy and convey it beforehand. I know nothing is free on this earth, but they are taking my services for free. I mean, I am not confident to put forth the prices. They are making faces. If at all, I tell them. अरे फेस बनाते हैं तो बनाने दो, ना करके चले जाएंगे, बहुत अच्छा है. Rather than doing free, don't do. Don't do. I would say quote a higher price. Quote a higher price for such people. And my father, who has another shop just beside the clinic, is coming around and asking me to give the money back, at least some of the money again to the relatives back after I take from them. Now that is where you need to talk with your father softly, nicely, that my costing out is this. My profits are this. But before that, you need to work out on your costing. Again, as in the morning example, I told, put it on Dr. Bhavdeep Ahuja. I watched his videos. Now I understand what is my costing, direct plus indirect. So I've quoted 2,500 for a PFM crown after discounted price. My landing cost is 2,000 rupees. Shouldn't I make even 500 out of this? Ask your dad. He will tell you, yes, you can make 500. Should I charge others 3,000, 4,000, whatever it is? But I am charging 2,500 just for you. Even if that is wrong, so I won't treat them only. Draw a line. Draw a boundary respectfully. It is better to listen a no rather than do, crib, cry, and still not get the payment. मुझे समझ नहीं आती, लोग कम पेमेंट में ना करते हैं, बाद में कहते हैं पेशेंट पैसे मार के क्यों डरते हो? ज्यादा से ज्यादा पेशेंट ना ही बोलेगा ना, बोलने दो ना यार, बोलने दो, जाएगा. अगर प्रॉफिट के साथ काम नहीं किया तो करना ही क्यों है वो काम? Lack of footfall. I think the primary reason is again your visibility part. Rural background or patient mindset is difficult to read, and where should I begin to explain them the things that they ask in any insects are there really in the tooth? Last time we went to a herbal person, he took out some insects, and how your treatment is different. Show us the insects. These are the questions they ask me. I think you should be confident कि दांत में बैक्टीरिया होते हैं, insects नहीं होते हैं. Show them YouTube videos where actually people have spammed those, or you can say panned those people who are showing insects. Showing insects. So make them understand. दांत में चलने फिरने वाले कीड़े नहीं होते. Those who are doing it, they are fraud. That is where the power of your organic presence is there. Remove the myths and the misconceptions in your target audience. So what अगर वीडियो है तो 1 मिनट में, I think what was the number, I forgot. How much content is, I just read it 2 days back, how much content is uploaded each day and how much is being consumed each day on YouTube. So there is a huge disparity in that. So the question is, if you are worried, इस पे पहले वीडियो बन चुका है, तो क्या वो वीडियो 7 बिलियन लोगों ने देख लिया है? इवन इंडिया के 1.4 बिलियन ने देख लिया है? नहीं देखा तो you still have a scope. You still have a scope. People talk of competition sometimes. I say, you talk of competition when there are 10,000 people in your area doing the same job. That is real competition. That is never going to happen. So strike the word competition out from your dictionary. I'm confused to make a customized informed consent. Learn it. Learn it. For full mouth cases for the treatment planning, take CAS before telling them the charges and plan. Should I charge for them? I think these should be prior mentioned. We need to take CAS for impressions for those, and the charges for the model or the impression making or the treatment and diagnosis planning would be this. For example, your consultation is 300, 400 rupees, whatever it is. If you're at tier 3, tier 4, maybe 200 rupees. Then my model impression and all those charges would be 1,000 rupees. Do you want me to go ahead? Yes. If after that they want to take up, go and take the models for a second opinion, 1000 rupees diya ho to le jao. But tell them, if you lose it, if this is broken, we might need them again and you might need to pay for it again. वो बैंक के लॉकर में रखेंगे, जाके देख, संभाल के रखेंगे गोल्ड की तरह. So make your own terms and conditions and boundaries. That is what is needed. For full mouth cases, okay, done. So some instruments are missing from the clinic. How to handle this situation? We are 2 in the clinic, myself and assistant. नहीं, 2 और भी होते हैं, I, me and myself. हम ही 3 हैं, एक तो assistant. Anyways, jokes apart. So the best way is CCTV cameras. That is the only thing I can say. Of course, this directly means that you are doubting your assistant. If your assistant is taking up the instruments, I'm not sure what will he do with that. If those are Hui Friday instruments, which I doubt you'll be having in a rural setup. So if your normal stainless steel instruments are missing, then nobody is going to use those instruments. Maybe 1-2 set ले गया होगा शायद अपने घर में check करने के लिए, या ले गई होगी अपने घर में अपने parents को check करने के लिए. That is the only thing they can do. But they are not opening up their clinic, I guess, with your instruments. If they are, get a CCTV camera in your clinic. Query from Pune, Maharashtra. Very, very few patients dedicate only 6 hours daily due to family. So I believe this is a female dentist who's writing, but that is perfectly okay. I mentioned in the morning also, any female dentist balancing clinic and you can say family is bound to give 5 to 6 to 7 hours, and that is decent enough. As male dentists also, we give 8 hours. So what difference does it make? So it is not. Make sure you make those 6 hours, at least 5 hours out of those 6 count because of productivity. If you have very, very few patients, then again, the visibility is the problem. Make yourself visible. If you're not visible to your target audience, who is going to tell the patient that you also exist? Query from Mumbai, Maharashtra, appointing an associate dentist. I'm not very sure as to how do I train an associate dentist, whether I should look for a fresher or an experienced doctor. Associate dentist को अगर आपने domain skills में trade करना है, तो फिर that means you are opening up an institute of training. which is wrong. If you're looking at an associate as a way to delegate your work, that is the correct way to look at it. And experience would come at a price. Experience would not need to be trained. Experience would need to be just told about the rules and the regulations of the clinic and where to draw the boundaries and all those things. But a fresher, considering the status outside, whatever it is, I think the domain skills would be lacking big front other than the business skills. So choose your demons wisely. That is the only thing I can say. So bargaining patients, again, set the context right at the start. Total treatment charges, payable in how many installments, how many words, how much work. That is the best way to start. Relying on the patients to pay everything at the end, there will be a problem of expectation and we can say perception. S is equal to P minus E. Satisfaction is equal to perception minus expectation. If the patient has walked with a certain kind of expectation in his mind and you don't give him the right kind of perception, which is driven by treatment or otherwise, then the patient is bound to get a good a bad perception, and that is going to result in more expectation and less perception. The end result would be dissatisfaction. Query from Sonipat, Haryana, unable to quote money to patient, have this feeling that she might go away. I'm also not much aware of charges taken by dentists in my area. My clinic is not fancy. It is simple, normal two rooms with normal rooms, AC, yes. Footfall is very minimal. So if some of you who has been regularly attending the pain points, you must have now realized that the patterns are the same. The problems are more or less the same. It is just the presentation of the participants. It is in a different way. That insecurity of losing the patients, that you can say feeling of missing out, whether I'm charging more or less or similar to my people in my area. Surface area or carpet area being equatable to the footfall. All these things are myths. I have detailed enough on that today. You have to shun the insecurity of leaving that patient. Even if you don't know what charges are your neighboring dentist taking, go to my videos, costing videos, open them, calculate your costing first, and then arrive at your treatment charges rather than looking at your neighbors. For example, something is costing you 2,000 rupees, for example, a PFM crown, but the price in your area is 1,800 rupees. Will you do it in 1,800 because the neighboring dentist is charging that? Will you put in, rather than earning, you will put from your pocket, and the end, next year your pain point would be, I'm having good patients, I'm charging also as per my neighboring dentist, but I still don't take home much money. I fail to think that even after having so many patients and so much good OPD, where is the money going from my clinic? Next year, you're going to have this pain point. Even with good OPD, good and charges equivalent to your neighboring areas. And maybe by then, you have invested certain things in your setup also to make it a little fancy. ये line मैंने सबसे ज़्यादा बार बोली होगी. You don't need a fancy interior. You don't need flashy interiors. It should be cozy, comfortable, decent, neat and clean. पर्दे गंदे ना हो, blinds कटे फटे ना हो, sofas आपके holes ना हो या seats फटी ना हो. All those things you have to make sure. It should be decent, nice looking. Want to increase my income? ऐसे तो नहीं होगी. जो आपने ऊपर points दिए उनसे तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगी. And this is not a 1-degree shift. This is at least a 30-degree shift that you require. लोगों की जान निकल जाती है 1-degree shift में. So are you ready to make that 30-degree shift in your practice? Other than the marketing, other than the visibility part, ask yourself. Developing a 6 Sigma, it is 6 Sigma practice with that wow factor. It is indirectly related to your 10 nuts and bolts only. When you have your nuts and bolts into place, it is automatically going to give you a 6 Sigma factor. Of course, that is a different topic altogether. I'll detail on that in depth probably next time. with maybe a graph or so to understand. So last in this set, query from Dubai, UAE. Can we base our prices on what the other dentists are charging? If yes, how can we know what they are charging? It's not possible to find about all clinics by calling. And yet they don't give clear answers. I just detailed this thing in the previous query. Are we really, or do we really need to bother about what colleagues are charging? Doesn't our charges should decide what exactly is? If those things are the deciding factor in this, shouldn't they be dependent upon your charges, your costing? Ask yourself. You should be worried about what your costing is and not what others are charging. End of debate. At the end of the day, you need to be profitable, not your neighbors. So worry about your costing, worry about your materials, worry about your calculations, worry about your net profit, worry about your gross profit margin, worry about your net profit margin. अगर किसी महीने आपको घाटा हो तो आपका नेबर आके आपको देके नहीं जाएगा पैसे. Remember that. Sometimes the patients don't ask for the price before doing the treatment. I am also hesitant to discuss the price beforehand, especially with long-time patients. Is it okay to tell the price to such patients after completing the treatment? No. You always need to tell them before so that they can make an informed choice. Probably they walked with an expectation of the treatment charges will be total 10,000 rupees. You gave them a budget of 20,000. It is falling beyond their budget. Another scenario, they walked with an expectation of 10,000 as a budget. You gave them a budget of 5,000. Puts a seed of doubt. काम अच्छा किया भी है कि नहीं, सब स्टैंडर्ड चीजें तो नहीं यूज करी, जरूरत से ज्यादा सस्ता तो नहीं है. Too much expensive, too much, you can say on the lower side. Both are bad. And what perception does the patient carry, even if it is an old patient? It is your duty to tell prior. That keyword is duty. That summarizes everything in this query. Should the doctor herself communicate with the patient, so it's better to have another number in the name of the clinic? It is ideally better to have a different clinic number. These days, the fashion of landline has gone out of, you can say, you can say possession of landline has gone out of fashion. So people keep cell numbers also different for clinic. Personal number should not be your. Of course, you may delegate it to a few close patients, few VIP patients, you may give it. But then they are the ones who are going to trouble you in the middle of a movie, in the middle of a travel, or middle of somewhere in the party where you are busy with those things. So choose your demons wisely. Everything will have pros and cons. Ideally, better to have a separate clinic number, be it a landline, be it a mobile phone. Is direct WhatsApp marketing a good option now rather than Facebook or Instagram? WhatsApp, Facebook or Instagram ने खरीद लिया है. And other than WhatsApp business APIs जो भी own करते हैं, जो उनके authorized नहीं है, उनको 10 मिनट लगते हैं नंबर ब्लॉक करने में. With no option, no सुनवाई, no बहस, nothing. Meta जिसको बोलते हैं, Meta means Facebook, Instagram और WhatsApp का जो Metaverse. It has one of the worst rules in social media today. Absolutely worse. YouTube, Google पे सुनवाई ज्यादा है comparatively. हालांकि वो भी बदनाम है, but Meta has the worst. And telling you from those personal experiences. So don't go in for directly, you can say, sending those messages. The first thing the law says also is you have to seek a permission before sending. लोग क्या करते हैं, ईमेल मार्केटिंग के थ्रू लोग करते हैं, ईमेल डाल दी 1000 लोगों को, अगले दिन गूगल ने जीमेल का अकाउंट ब्लॉक कर दिया. So what is the option? उसमें भी opt-in करके चीजें यूज होती हैं. You have to opt for opt-ins and all those before going in for email marketing also. What script to use for patients to come back after 6 months for monthly checkups? Also, if a patient has undone treatment, how often we can remind them to come back for the treatment and what script to use so that it does not sound that we are being pushy. For the monthly checkup, always ask them, you will need to get a monthly check. You will need to get a 6 monthly checkup done. Do you want me to give you a reminder? If yes, you will get it on the message and on the call. The way your system is. आप message करते हो, call करते हो, set that and explain that to the patient. If the patient, नहीं, मैं reminder लगा रहा हूँ, I'll keep myself. Perfectly fine. That is the script to use for a recall. For a patient who is in the middle of a consultation, you can use the same script. They have gotten one treatment done from you, and the second they have postponed, ask them for a 6 monthly recall and use the same script. We want to give us a reminder. It also reminds them, my doctor reminded them of something else also, or something else to be done also. Have I got that done? If not, then it is better to ask for it prior. Don't be pushy in that regard. Just ask for the reminder. And if the patient has, you can say, just consulted you, usko aap पूछ सकते हो at that time, do you want us to give you a reminder? No, I'll decide and come back myself after consulting my family. In that case, you don't need to do anything. That is not your patient till now. That is just your consultation till now. So understand and learn the difference between the two things. So this ends all the high priority pain points. It has taken more than 8 hours or close to 6 sessions. So to finish these high priority 71 pain points out of the 250 responses, the next up is the medium priority pain points. I'm going to take a couple today, and then we'll be starting the next session whenever we take this up in December with the priority pain points or from the medium priority pain points. Just 2 of them. As received in order. The first medium received was the first from this one. Query from Mumbai, Maharashtra. No unity within dentists. Most of them are working on less fees. As I said, the same pain point can be severe for some, medium for some. There will be a few repetitions as well, but it is a good thing. When we put in a month's gap or a 2 months gap for these kind of things, it becomes a learning exercise for all of you as well in that sense. So no unity within the dentist. We don't have a common platform. One common platform only exists, which has 25% members or less than 25% members. Come on that platform. Numbers are powerful. Can we do anything for dental insurance in India? The government of India tried something in Rajasthan. Dr. Rajiv Chittaguppi from Mumbai, in his personal capacity, tried a lot. You can say a couple of years before COVID. There are a lot of, you can say, I would say, documentation level or maybe restriction level loopholes at IRDAI. Probably we believe that dental insurance is going to come sooner or later in India, at least in the government sphere. And somehow the government setups are not that equipped up to handle that kind of load. So and probably it will trickle down to private dentists getting enrolled in that sphere. I foresee those things that probably that is going to happen in the government sphere very soon. And probably the work will trickle down to us as well in some capacity in one or the another, maybe through the empanelment, maybe enrollment or whatever way. So that is my belief. So query from Thane, Maharashtra. In personal capacity, I don't think we can do much for dental insurance in India. So query from Thane, Maharashtra, retention of staff. I talked about the 4 aspects in the morning. The key 4 elements are monetary growth, career growth, respect and care, and work-life balance. These are the 4 aspects people need to be taken care of before you count themselves to be lucky or loyal with you. Saturation of dentists near me, so patient feels they have many options, do not respect skill and time of dentists. Saturation is a myth. Please get over it. The sooner you get out of your head the closer you will get to reality. And probably your selling skills were not good enough. Your conversation skills were not good enough. Your communication skills were not good enough. That is why you did not have conversion. I have not mentioned the word convince even once in this. So understand, if it is happening regularly, maybe something is not right. Something is not right. Or probably you're attracting only C and D kind of patients. Convenience patients and dangerous patients. For C, they will choose the cheapest. For D, I pray to God that you don't get any D. ये डी वो होते हैं जो आपसे करवा के जाते हैं और फिर आपके ऊपर ही केस करते हैं. Those dangerous category of patients. Rising cost of clinic overhead as we upgrade ourselves, but patients are reluctant to pay. I just mentioned post-COVID time is the best time to increase charges. Best time. No questions asked zone hai aajkal. Of course, don't increase that exorbitantly. Don't increase that in all services. I've told multiple times, increase those services which are contributing to your 80% revenue. Those 20% services which are bringing 80% of revenue, increase those. Don't increase the rest. Let it be constant. Let it be constant. It is not going to make a difference if you are doing a denture for, let's suppose, 10,000 rupees and you do one denture in 2 months. One denture in 2 months. You say, I'm increasing 20% charges of my denture. What will that bring you? 10 plus 2, 12,000. Per month, 1,000 rupees increase in revenue. Is it a huge one? No, don't touch it. Pick those services. You're doing root canals most, you're doing the crowns the most, you're doing implant the most. Raise those charges. First, calculate where is the money coming from. पैसा जहां से आ रहा है उसी को बढ़ाओगे तो proportion 10% भी बढ़ाओगे तो you will have a substantial increase in the revenue. Think. भेजा बहुत भेजा है भगवान ने यहाँ पे. Use करना सीखो boss. With this, I come to the end. I wanted to finish these high priorities, so I carried on, you can say 30-40 minutes extra. But again, that was a prerogative to serve you. Now, October is done. We do one event a month. The next up is Children's Day special in the month of November. Episode number 4, 5, and 6. 7 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m. After this, hopefully finance pain points will also see the culmination at, you can say, probably the high severity pain points would be done with that also. At the end of November, we should be done with the 6 parts of each of those, and probably you can say from maybe in December, depending upon whatever. But so I have kept it as Children's Day, but Children's Day falls on 14th of November. Diwali falls on 12th of November. Vishkarma Day 13th. Bhai Dooj on 14th. But somewhere, like every festival this year, Bhai Dooj is also mentioned 15th. So I don't want to cut into your celebrations. And if I go even further, then we will have Chhath Puja also. So I've tried to sandwich between the Diwali vacation and the Chhath Puja. But if you still find reasons to not attend, it is your choice. The individual links would be there 1 to 2 weeks before. As usual, in the second week or first week of November, they'll be there for you to register. Remember, those are 3 sessions, 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. And this is the workshop that is coming up this month. This is the paid workshop. This is not a free workshop. Consent workshop that I do once every 6 months. Again, try to sandwich this. I had kept the date 13, 14, 15 October. But then those two are 2 Shraddhs and the first Navratra and the India-Pakistan World Cup match. So I didn't want to sandwich on those 3 days because those days are important for some. Some have their puja on the last Shraddh or the second last Shraddh. Some have their first Navratra puja and you need preparations. So I never wanted to keep this kind of a, you can say, edge of the seat topic or intense topic in those. So I've chosen those dates after Dussehra, which are before Karwa Chauth, after Dashera, and sirf Diwali ki safai chal rahi hoti in dino mein. So if you have any other engagement lined up, no problem. But the rest of the details would be unveiled in the temporary consent group in the evening, not in the main group, but in the temporary consent group, where I keep the discussion open for this. So in the main group, there will be an announcement tomorrow morning regarding this. So you can think of it. So the homework for you, as usual, develop the trait of giving back to the society. Post your top 3 to 5 takeaways from the session in WhatsApp group you are with me, or if you are not want to be a part of that, send me a message. You can post this on social media as well. My ID everywhere is Dr. Bhavdeep. Do it right now and cement your learnings. Morning, just 3 or 4 people posted. So either you don't follow the instructions or you are a super brainy chap. Those who believe that listening is everything. It does not work this way. So all my IDs are Dr. Bhavdeep, standardized all over. So YouTube channel, there are so many links that I talked about today. If you want to get a hang of those, you can say subscribe to my channel, you get a video, and we will be posting a new category of content from next week onwards on YouTube as well. And that is not video content, of course. So PSD, our small effort to fix the broken education system by plugging the gaps, by eradicating the DMF index, documentation, management, and finance. PSD, if you are not a member, we resumed our services in the PSD group from today itself, as promised. The break was over. The break was taken for 3 months. It is over and it is functional now. Right now, this session is being streamed into PSD. It will be there till tomorrow. Following that, it will go to YouTube sooner. So if you are not part of my community, want to be there, please message me. We are running 2 groups of different topic, practice management and finance, and both have subject matter different. So understand that and want to be added. These are advertisement-free groups. So do send me a feedback on the number or in the group. Bouquets and brickbats both would be welcome in equal measure. So I stop the share for questions from any one of you. Firstly, I'll be taking up in the chat. Dr. Mustafa says, so in the initial 5 to 10 years of practice, we always be flexible with patients' time and keep timing according to patient flow, right? And sir, what was your strategy in communicating the timing 3 months in advance? For the initial few years, you can afford it considering your small family size. So I believe you can keep it flexible as per your patients. And my strategy is start conveying those things to your patients 3 months in advance so that they know that you're shifting to your premises nearby. And that is what exactly is my strategy. I mentioned about this in detail. Dr. Priya asks, hello, sir, if the patient compare the cost with the nearby dentist, is it okay to have printed of IDA standard price list of dental procedures to show it to our patients? Or should I just convince them saying every year, every item price increases, thus even dental price increases? Simply say inflation bug bites everyone. It is not wise to show them a printout or everything, although DCI mandates or advises that one should give a printed or keep a printed list on the website so as to patient to make an informed decision. Although this is not mandatory. But if you get into that comparison part, please have a red flag ad there. If the patient is hell-bent on comparing the prices, he is a C category patient. Convenience. आज आप 2000 में कर रहे हो, आपका पेशेंट है, कल को कोई पड़ोसी नया क्लिनिक खोलेगा 1800, he will be his patient. So convenience patients are no clinics fixed patients or loyal patients. So even if you do that, we tend to believe that most of the patients in dentistry are C category. And realistically speaking, they are just 10%. I told you about I gave you the data also. 10% patients are such. And we make it apparent that 90% are such patients. It's not. It's not. So don't get into debate. Don't get into argument. Say it politely, say it respectfully. You don't need to show them validation. We are not a restaurant. A restaurant serving a water bottle at 200 rupees doesn't need a validation from someone. That pani to free hai. Yeah, mineral water bottle 20, 30 mein milti hai. Why are you charging 200 for the same bottle? It is their choice. The only thing is inform prior, let them make an informed choice. If that patient is a C category and just is hell-bent only on comparing the prices, say thank you so much and bye-bye, Mr. 28. Say bye-bye, Mr. 28. 100 patients, 72 ideal conversion rate. 28 are not your patients. So bye-bye, Mr. 28 is my answer. Thank you so much. I'm not interested in C or D kind of patients. No problem, Bhavna. Sir, my genuine patient came with his mother to treatment. I gave him a quote of 35K. He has started her treatment to nearby Rahat Dental Clinic at 15K. What to do? Thank God. Thank God, Dr. Kinner. If your patient has chosen to get it at 15K, and if your neighboring dentist has chosen to treat that in 15K, loss में करने से अच्छा है कि आप ना करो. It is always better to not do it rather than doing it at a loss. And yes, you're right, Mustafa. Thank you, Dr. Ramchandar. Thank you, Dr. Aarti. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. CGHS, Dr. Brajesh asks, is CGHS HS impalement of the clinic is fruitful? Any procedure that entails more footfall in your clinic is useful, is fruitful. Anything that brings in more patients to your clinic is fruitful. So why would you say a no? And in those cases, you don't even have a bargaining issue. No problems about pricing. And CGHS pricing is a good pricing, much more than an average dental clinic in India. Much more than an average dental clinic in India. So if you're getting that impalement, good, go for it. At least one headache less of bargaining patients is done and dusted. Patient comes with a problem and we advise them. Dr. Sabyasachi asks, patient comes with a problem and we advise them the treatment option. He did not inquire about charges. Patient later come for treatment. When should I tell them the charges? Before the start. Before the start. Sabyasachi, you did a consent workshop also with me. You know it. It is a part of the consent form itself. The payment part. First the verbal, so that the written becomes a procedural formality. That is what I have taught you. Before. Dr. Brajesh asked, sir, 2 days ago, one of the patients got annoyed when I asked for prices before obturation. As I have started the RCT, so I would have to complete it. So listened her. She went out saying she got headache sitting in the chair and asking for price. That is actually wrong on your part. You should have settled the system. It is not a prepay kind of a system in clinic. Either set the rules yourself. You come for the appointment, please pay at the counter and then you come in for the treatment. If that is the rule you have conveyed to the patient, you are right to do it. But if you have kept the payment part till the end, then prepaying, suddenly telling the patient, complete. Your focus is only towards money. You're setting a bad ground for yourself. आपका भी ध्यान उसमें होगा, पता नहीं पेशेंट दे के जाएगी नहीं, पहले इसने ना कर दी है, whether she will pay it at the end or not. The patient is thinking, this doctor is so money minded. He finished this treatment and I better leave this dentist and get another one. So both the minds, conflicting things are going on. The end result is you may not be able to do that kind of perfect job that you wanted to do. Or even if you did that, the patient might not believe, iska dhyan paise mein tha, he did not do a perfect job. An ideal recipe or a ground for a medical legal scenario. Don't get into these things. These things are mostly the figments of imagination that we all have. So trust me, you are not doing anything, you can say, wrong in that sense. Okay. Any more queries on the Facebook? Nothing else is there. Okay. So anyone wants to ask any question or are we done? It's close to exactly 2 hours, but at least we have finished a good chunk of the portion. Question ये होता है कि जिनके लिए पेन पॉइंट्स अगर वही अटेंड नहीं कर रहे थे, as I answered in the scenario, नहीं आंसर कर रहे, उनकी इच्छा. हम लोग अपना कर्म कर रहे हैं. We are doing our bit. Whatever anybody wishes to gain through it or not gain through it, it's their choice. We can't dictate someone something. So we are done. Thank you so much, guys, for staying till the end. And I will see you next on the 16th of November in the finance pain points episode 4, 5, 6. The practice pain points 7 and 8 continue in December. Once a month. Thank you.